a VOD review for a Silver 2 Angela. And what we're going to run into here is we're not getting as much value as we could because we've got some long rotations and we've got some really bad habits that are going to cost you a lot of games and a lot of lives if we don't kind of try to adjust our thinking process here. And one of those is that you don't respect Emma and you don't respect Penny. And there's a lot of times you should just be like respawning. Also, I think that maybe what I see here is you play pretty decently for the first point, but then you guys struggle a bit on the second point, and that's going to be because of some of the choices you make and the pathing you take. You default to main too much. And then I think you tilt out on the third point, and you just kind of shut down and autopilot right down main choke, slamming your head into the front line again. Angela's really hard. She requires a lot of game sense, a lot of game knowledge. She's a meta character, as in the bigger picture, right? She's not like Captain America, who can just jump in, beat people in the face, and then run away and get the same amount of value. She's not as tanky as he is if you don't pilot her right, and it's relatively easy to CC her when people start learning what to do. For example, if you dash straight at a Jeff, he just needs to right-click you and you fall over and then look really, really goofy as he like chunks you for like 200 hit points, right? That's just one example. Bucky, Emma, Penny. If you telegraph how you're going in, which you do very often, you're just going to get CC'd and you're going to not have a great time. So part of that is the pathing and how we approach it. Part of that is target selection. Part of that is timing. So we're going to look at some of your gameplay here. And my notes here are that, especially in the first round here, you get good value off of your attention. And you're aware of your own health. You know how to use health packs. And you know the basic quick melee combo, which is good because it drastically ups her damage, right? So that's great. I'm enjoying this character a lot. I played dive tanks in Overwatch quite a bit and flankers. And my personal favorites are Magic and Psylocke, and she kind of plays like some kind of weird mix of all of those. That said, like I said, the timing and the target priority and the decisions you make on her are exceptionally important. Because to get value out of her, it's just so much harder than Venom, who just sits in the middle of your team with like 2,000 hit points and says, "Come at me, bro. Otherwise, eventually I'll kill something." Right? So we're going to take a look here at some gameplay, and I like this already. Like, this is good because you're getting on an off angle on a rotation. Why not just go up here? Check this out. Make sure there's not somebody coming up here doing the same thing you are, walking right over your head, right? So, get up here. This is great. You checked your team. That is like a terrible habit that a lot of people have. They don't do this, and it will get them murdered. You're trying to see where your team is lining up, because we need to remember during the game you can't see the red outlines, right? So, we're coming in. This is why being high ground and being up high for any character is so strong. We have to evaluate what can we see here. A tree, right? And then all of this stuff, remember, I don't know how to turn the outlines off, but like all of this stuff, you can't see through. So you don't have hardly any type of a mental picture. The only thing we know is they have a rocket and that Penny put down some mines, because we heard both of those things, right? Maybe we heard some other stuff, but like, look at how much better this is. Look at how much more choice I have. Like, I have such a more clean view of everything that's going on. What about even over here, right? I just can see so much, and I have so many better decisions I can make because I can see more, right? Now, this is where you're wild, man. You freak me out. I have no idea what it is about people below, like GM, being just magnetically attracted to this thing, but, like, you can just explode. You could just explode a Doctor Strange or a Venom if these things have been sitting here. These little guys. Oh my gosh, they have little faces on them in this skin. That's freaking awesome. All right, these little guys, they will end you. To be very clear, for those who don't know, Penny's Nest spits out these little spider drones, like 2 of them every few seconds, and they can stack up. And then anywhere where this webbing is touching or almost touching, those little spider drones can skitter over really fast and explode and actually murder you. You will just explode. If they do, I don't know how much damage they do a piece, but they can insta-kill a tank if enough of them have stacked up. Penny's mines, does she have any out? Her spinning mines, her regular mines, these things. If they are in her nest, they are invisible and invulnerable. They cannot be destroyed if they are in the nest. You cannot see them if they are in a nest. She can stack those up yet again, walk on the wrong nest, and you explode on the wrong web, right? See, like right there, only 2 of those touched you and some Namor squids. That's like literally all the damage you took, and it's like half your life just because you touched this. You could do everything you were doing from up here if you really wanted to, but you didn't even have a great target because you couldn't see anything, right? Go back to your point of view. So now what have we done? This isn't great, right? Like if you're gonna do your attack run, let's not do this. And this is a really bad habit a lot of people have. You took damage, you default back to your team, right? So you just take more damage. You do this a lot here in the future, but like, okay, abort. You have this health pack. I know you know where the health packs are, right? And then you're still back here to pester them, to do off-tank things, to do dive tank things. So dive tanks, I loved the explanation of dive tanks, or at least a partial one, is the frontline tanks like Emma make the bad guys have attention from them from front to back because they are a wall. The entire team pivots around this character, right? Because it's very dangerous for a non-tank to be in front of this character because the entire enemy team can shoot you and you don't have enough life or shields or anything to protect yourself about it. Tanks can get away with doing what this Emma is doing, right? She is pretty exposed because she just doesn't have the backup in her team to do this. And now, because you left, everybody is looking at her, right? So she could take a lot of damage here. Her supports are going to need to have her in their pocket 24/7 to keep her alive. Luckily, this team isn't stupidly high damage, but if it all adds up, if you have enough Loki clones, if he gets a good headshot, if he gets squids out, right? If Scarlet Witch had Doctor Strange team up, that's just a metric ton of damage, right? So an off tank or a dive tank, which Angela is, or a captain or a Venom, they tank from back to front. Penny really jacks up some of them. Doesn't do in Angela as well, right? So you get value not by being there because you're squishy, your shield is small, right? It doesn't have a lot of life, right? You can't do the same things. You get value over here when they're shooting at you because every round they fire at you, every spear Namor chucks, every octopus that's down here, every heal that he doesn't throw, that's stuff the front line isn't getting. That's stuff their captain and their Penny isn't getting, and then your team wins. And this is where us being responsible and not blaming our team starts coming into focus, right? So if they're trying to deal with you and they're not doing it effectively, right? Their tanks are going to be screaming, "Where's my heals? Gosh, guys! Well, your healers are trying to deal with this annoying gnat that's just causing them all sorts of problems. And if they goof up, you can kill them. You can do it with Angela. One of the combos is pretty easy. You normal fly in, stab them, shift, fly some more, quick melee stab again because when you were dashing at them, you charged up your spear again. That does a boatload of damage. She has a couple combos. Some of them really aren't worth it, but that one is pretty easy and it is worth it, and it will do a lot of damage, right? But going back to main, you don't pull any of that attention. You don't use this mobility of yours to your advantage. You just get shot, and nobody's stressed out, so they all get to look forward. Now, you're thinking about it, right? But I don't know what it is about you and this Penny. But imagine here, and this is what I was talking about, but you just love these nests and you love this Penny. I don't know why you love this Penny so much, right? Who's going to kill the Penny in the middle of your team? They're like, you're going to push her here in a second. Okay, cool, great. How is your team going to do 750 damage to her with her support still healing her? With Namor shooting you, right? How is that going to happen? It's not. If anything, you might have just given her a death sentence because Penny can two-shot that, or maybe even one-shot that. Probably one-shot that, or almost quick melee it, right? So that's just like you're trolling. Like you're actually legit trolling your team right now. You're actually helping her do her job because nobody can stop her, and now everybody's going to have to look and use cooldowns and run away, and now Emma has to back up, and now you're chilling in main choke point. This is like the actual worst. You should never be here. Most teams should almost never be here. You should always be taking these because this is a little death sentence where any kind of spam just freaking hits your entire team, and the enemy team just needs to look at these 2 little choke points and you can't get through it. You should always go up here and up here first. There's almost no exception to not wanting to control these things if you're trying to attack and retake. The same thing if you're trying to defend them, depending on if your team is a point hold team or if it is a chokehold team. You would want people up here because it's just so easy to shoot like over this, and you have such a good view of the battlefield and you have cover, right? Down here, you can't shoot anything. They all have high ground. They all have cover. They can spam Squirrel Girl or whatever in here, and you're just cooked. And this is where characters like Angela can get exceptional amounts of value, right? Because Angela doesn't need to worry about walking the long way, right? She can be anywhere she wants. She's so mobile. It's actually like criminal how mobile she is. But instead, we're kind of stuck here, right? And then we fly over the mines again into the Penny, who we can't do anything to. Nobody on our team can do anything to her when she's being pocketed with her entire team. We lose half of our hit points. We do push her out of the choke, which is kind of okay. But you almost died. If she netted you, you probably die there, right? Because more of the spider mines get her. Maybe an aimer hits you with the spear, right? So instead, what should we do? Well, we should have come up here, provided we were in there. Come up here. Look for this. Look, this is easy. Get this. Stop it from doing damage, right? Get on these things. Make them turn around. Get on this thing. Make it turn around, right? You don't even need to do anything other than make them turn around at you, right? Then your team is now 5v1ing the Penny, right? So that's kind of how you carry on these side tanks. And I see a lot of Angela still haven't kind of figured it out yet. You are just way too low to the ground all the time also. Like, especially with this Penny. You're like literally like skimming your belt on the ground. Now here, I get it. You're low, right? And this is great. See? Look. Why didn't you do that instead of stabbing the, several hundred hit point Penny Parker? And yeah, you dislodged her from the choke point. Yeah, it made space. Yeah, that was fine. But if you'd set up way earlier before she even got over there, or before you actually literally pushed her into a good position, just do that to their Loki already, right? Half of them are looking this way at your team because your team's out. Freaking do a flyby on Loki, and you wrecked him, right? Now, look, they are all freaked out. That is all you, right? Watch how this happens. I want you to watch to show you how important this is. And this is why the performance-based MMR is actually garbage. And it rewards bad habits and bad behavior, right? So they are starting to back up a little bit. Penny Parker came back all the way for some reason. Smartly. Because she was taken, because you put her out, yeah, you got the elim. So I'm not going to say that you didn't get value out there. I'm going to say that how you did it, you need to consider, right? All right, so she's back now. They're backing up, right? And now look, you've got the attention of 1, 2, 3, 4 people now. She's cooked. Instantly, like, there's no world that, like, she lives there, right? And that's because they were all looking at you. Now do the same thing once the fight starts and locks up, right? Again, way too close to these Penny nests. Look at this. This is perfect. This is how you do it. You do not need to eliminate this person. You are winning the entire game by doing this. You are now winning. They are getting no heals. I want you to imagine, I don't know what their numbers actually are, but let's imagine that Loki does 100 healing per second and Rocket does 70 healing per second. You are doing 170 DPS to the entire enemy team right now because they are not getting heals. They are going to lose a fight of attrition because you have supports and you have numbers and they just fall over, right? And these guys are like, where's my heals? Where's my heals? They're over here getting actually trolled by the Angela because this is what off tanks do. It's great that you come back. You force them back. Maybe you weren't sure where the respawns are. You can't really kill them when they're pocketing themselves, but you don't need to. And that's why this is silly. This is silly because you know some of them have respawned. Yet again, if this Penny nets you, you're just cooked wherever she is. You're just like actually like in a really bad place. Look, you did a bad flyby and you lost half your health. This is why Angela's so hard. Any little mistake on her and you're going to get blasted. Or if you aren't looking for value and you aren't finding it, you're just going to like troll the lobby, right? Again, this is so scary. You can be above them. You could do everything you're doing by swooping in like this instead. Like, you know, sorry, my wrist brace, I can't really steer. Like this instead. Because something I think I'm finding out, just like Magic's hitbox is if you aim off to the right, you're way more likely to hit if you aim off to this side because Magic drags into it. If you watch Angela's camera, she actually moves from the left down under your crosshair, so you can actually aim up a little higher and you'll still snag him with the tip. But you are like literally skimming the ground here. If anything happens to you, any kind of CC, maybe Scarlet Witch just threw her, she saw you coming in and she's like not just holding mouse 1, she throws her stun ball right here on her supports, which is what I would do. Right? I'd put the stun ball here. You go, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of these little goofy guys run straight at your face and you just die. You're just dead. You're dead right there. Those things kill you, right? Little on anybody else. Now, you got out. You were aware that you were getting low. You were aware that too many people were looking at you. You got out. There, Penny Parker trolled the lobby. She didn't realize everybody behind her turned for you. So you were doing the mostly right thing. It's how you were doing it that was dangerous. You were doing it in front of the entire enemy team. You were doing it out of line of sight of your team. So in front of the entire enemy team is really bad. Out of line of sight of your team is sometimes bad. And 5 feet over a Penny Parker nest is always bad, right? And here we come again. I love it. Love it. Look. Why? Why are we going back? That's super value. Troll the rat. Like, you have health, you have a shield, you can troll him for a little longer. Don't give up too much. You come back, yet again, you do know where your health packs are. Right? This is fine, but it's long, right? Did we need to go this far? I think you were pretty healthy, you know? Like, now you're out of action, right? The big fight's happening. Nobody else was looking at you. You know, you have enough health. Like, this is just really long, right? It's just really long. You could have gone the other way. You could have gone out there. Again, you scare me! All right, I'm going to stop harping on the Penny Parker thing. But this is terrifying, right? Like, ah! Ah! Net, dead. How you did not get netted by her down there, I do not know. None of the mines, somehow, again, none of the mines hit you, and look at your hit points. Yikes, right? Like, 78 hit points. Whew. All right, I'm not going to belabor that point. It's going to be more of the same here. You're just way too close to the penny. And this is where you start making some more questionable decisions and you fail to identify your positions, right? Again, you are just trying to get exploded here. I cannot stress enough how scary and bad this is. You're flying in front of the entire enemy team, who happens to be an Emma that can insta-kill you, who happens to be a Scarlet Witch that can stun you, who happens to be a Penny that can net you and insta-kill you. And you're just flying right in the middle of all of them. It's like, this is not going to be something you will consistently get away with if as your rank gets any higher. You should have just died there. Like, there's no excuse for them not to have eliminated you there, other than the fact that this is a lower rank, right? Now, we're really hot on this Penny Parker. Yeah, great. I love the fact you are aware of things that are going on around you. I think what's happening is you either get tilted, or it takes a lot of brain power to play this character, and you get done, and you haven't built enough good habits to not fail when you need to switch over to autopilot, right? So you start tunneling on this Penny Parker like really hard. I love the fact that you're waiting for your team. Again, this is such a good habit that most people don't have. You're kind of scouting. You look back at your team. You're kind of scouting, right? Okay, now we need the stage. What are we going to do? What's our objective here? That's what we need to answer. This is not great. This maybe, right? That definitely. This is bad. Unless your team is like on it, there's a chance that she kills 2 people right here, right? If she had grabbed your support, she kills you. Or your support instantly. She almost got you killed. If she had grabbed one of these 2, they die. She kills them. Grab, melee, melee, slam, they're dead, right? They're stunned. They're CC'd for the entire duration of their life, right? So you actually almost put your team in a really bad position. The only reason it wasn't is because these people are like not in a position to help her, which in a higher rank they may be holding up here, whether they should or not, you know. But this is the choke that I see most held right here, and they'll be shooting down into you. And this Psylocke could have been closer, and she could have killed you, right? Maybe again, Scarlet threw a stun in there. Your entire team gets CC'd, right? So we have to be very careful when displacing people. That's why she's a very technical character. She's going to control the lobby just as hard as you can make big plays. Again, nice on the Scarlet Witch. That's fine. Scarlet Witch's ult is super easy to interrupt on Angela. You look at her and you push shift. She's not fast enough to get out of the way, usually, as long as you're relatively close. If you fail, you can just bring your shield up. Make sure you remember your shield has a cooldown, so if you put it up, you probably have to hold it because it's like a 2-second cooldown and she can explode in that time. But she's very I did this poor Scarlet Witch dirty. I interrupted her all like 6 times in a row. To note on that, if you do interrupt them, they get 50%, so they will have it much sooner than they otherwise normally would, right? And here it is, the moment I've been waiting for. It finally happened. And it will happen more and more and more as you play better players, right? Again, you have no business being here, right? Your team, there's nobody else to split the aggro with you, and every single person. This is why this is out of position. It's pretty obvious when you look at it from here. Every single person on the enemy team can see you. I don't care if you had 4 supports in this situation. You are going to die. You are out of position. You made a mistake. It doesn't matter if your supports are alive or dead. This is not something healing will be able to solve, right? And they tried. They tried their best, actually. She got caught. She got caught. And this was just the tunnel vision, right? Moving forward. Again, what I kind of get it, but I don't, right? This is low value. And like what we're gonna see here is like you lose focus of like what's important. So it looked like you started getting lost in this. And when we look at what's happening here, if we go down here and look at the timeline, right, we can start seeing what's happened and identify what the win condition should have been. And if you've noticed, Psylocke, Psylocke, Psylocke. I don't know how Rocket Raccoon's eating a bunch. Psylocke, Wanda, Psylocke. Rocket again, right? Psylocke, Psylocke. So we've identified the problem. You're actually pretty good at keeping her in check. The second you see her, you can get on her. Your win condition for this is not dorking around on the point, having 4 people chase you. It's making sure that Psylocke can't play the game. It's making sure that you know where that Psylocke is, and you do that by scouting and good positioning. So like if you're hiding over here, where is she? Right? If you're with your team because you know she's coming for your team, you listen for her, right? Maybe your team's going down through the main choke and you're up here listening, watching here, listening. Then maybe you see her, right? Now I know who I need to pay attention to, right? But we didn't identify our win condition, and our win condition at this point was not harassing the enemy team. And this is how people can get huge stat lines and still lose the game, right? Because they're getting eliminations that don't matter. Here, you're getting attention, but it's the wrong kind of attention, right? It's the attention that gets you killed, right? Instead, you need to be marking that that Psylocke as best you can without like wasting time doing it, but you need to be very active in looking for her and identifying if she's a problem or not. Okay, so I think that one tilts you, and why I think that is because yet again you continually, let's talk about this point here. This point, I think people are they're starting to figure it out, but this hallway right here, right off the rip, is super important to control, because otherwise they can come behind you, they can shoot you from up here, and they can shoot you from up here. Their supports can heal from here, which is tons of cover, right? Instead, we go after Penny Parker. What is she going to do over here? Set up a nest? And she's going to do that anyways. Are we going to kill her? No. I guess if we thought we could, maybe we could push her off. But also, oh yeah, this is goofy as hell. This deserves a rewind. I don't know what happened there, but let's say that you did get her off. Let's say you got the melee knockdown, right? Let's say there's still a chance she's either going to catch the ledge here and climb back up, or that her web grab ability is still up, so she gets off. So you don't really do anything here. Let's look at the worst case scenario. She nets you, and she's stacked mines already, or you just waste all your time, right? So you either die, or you waste all your time, or somebody you didn't see up here shreds you, right? What if this was some kind of nasty DPS? Rocket made it here. All these guys are here, right? So instead on Angela, what I would do is stage here, maybe here. It's hard on this side because you have a left-hand peek instead of here, where you have a right-hand peek, where you have more camera you can cheat around the corner. Here, what are they doing? They not looking at me? All right, over here, over here. Look, doesn't this look much better than a Penny Parker on the point for nothing? Look at this. You're all the way over here. You could have been here forever. Like you could have been here forever ago, right? We're just waiting. Just waiting. Fighting's about to start. Just waiting. See the Psylocke? Okay. Go. Boom. Boink. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Right? Now she's not healing. Right? Now maybe Psylocke turns around. Right? Instead, we're just kind of dicking with Penny Parker, and it doesn't really matter. Right? Again, what's with this Penny Parker? What did she do to you, man? What'd she do to you? What'd she do to you, friend? And look, she finally nets you again. Nobody's there to help you, and you lose half your life. For what? What is she going to do to your team from right here? Absolutely nothing. She's going to pump her little spider shots into them for an exactly ignorable amount of damage, right? Instead, you're burning all your shield. You're letting them free shoot into here. You're letting them actually own the point because your team's afraid to push in, right? And now you just like run at the enemy team. You should be dead like right here. Like, I'm not even kidding, like, right here, you should be dead. This Emma should see you coming and just give you a one-way trip to Nopeville. Instead, she's slow, but you still arrive at your final destination because you just, you were, again, skating along the bottom of the ground. I'm not sure what's causing that, if it's just a mechanical thing or not, but really be aware of how low to the ground you are. And your spacebar should take you up if you're not on console. I can't remember if you are or not. Otherwise, whatever your jump button is by default should take you up, and your crouch button by default should take you down. Some people have reported rebinding that helps them. Something to consider. But you don't need to directly follow outside of your dash just what you're looking at. And this is PC, so spacebar and control by default, right? But like this is just goofy, right? Because you literally just inted into their entire enemy team with no support from your team, right? You literally just turbo feed. This is just like turbo feeding, right here. This is turbo feeding. Again, I'm sorry to make it painfully obvious, but look, 5 people on their team can see you. Exactly 0 people on your team can see you. Right? You're beyond salvation at this point. Like, it is inevitable that you die here, and this should have happened several times in the other example. So I'm not going to harp on this. I'm going to try not to harp on this example too much. Again, okay, so this is where it just goes downhill. You path like exactly this way like 4 times in a row. So I'm not going to belabor the point because you get it. This is bad. You don't want this. You do not want to deal with any of this. You are going to get cooked when they get better. You know what you want to deal with? That. But going through the same path up the main choke, or what the main is going to be now, because it's your front line, your entire front line. One, you're super early, yet again. You're going to come around this corner and your team can't see you, right? And 2, this is low value. There's nothing you're getting out of this. This is why Angela is so difficult, right? Right? You have made a little space, but you can't do anything here. If you're going to spear something, spear that. Right? This is going to get its ult, and that's their win condition for a fight, right? Right? Granted, they're super late. I cannot believe your Emma dunked that. That is wild. But yet again, this is what should be happening to you with a lot of these plays that you're making. This should be like you. Look at how hard this is. Your Emma is looking for it. She's on it, and like freaking slam dunks her. That's actually wild. That is a round-saving play right there. Like, I think you guys lose this, but like, that should be happening to you all the time. And a good Emma is going to do that to you all of the time, because just a lot of Angela stuff is telegraphed unless you're careful. You gotta play around cover. So let's summarize with like, as Angela, I want to find high-value targets and use my mobility to either distract or eliminate them, or pull more people to looking at them so that my team doesn't have those guys looking at me, right? So when we look here, right, this is going to be higher value than pushing that into you. The cloak and dagger that I don't even know how I don't know how this situation happened, but you know, that would have been more valuable. Doing it with him. Look for your teammates to go with and assist, right? Look at what your Star-Lord wants to do. Like, where's he going to go? He's here. Okay. Let's see where he ends up. Oh, that's unlucky, right? But if you were there watching your Star-Lord, looking for this Psylocke, right? This is goofy on his part. That didn't work. That's not very great on his part either, right? Because he's standing in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the enemy team, right? They're just going to turn on him. But if you see him going on something that's valuable, then yeah. But why are we looking here? That's the dangerous one. We need to be shooting that. Or pinning that off the map, right? She's the one who's actually popping off on this, right? Instead we're going against the dangerous one. I swear to God, if I'm going to tilt out of my mind if she has her diamond. Okay, she doesn't. But she does a lot of damage. Look how much damage you just took existing, accomplishing nothing, right? So let's have a goal. Let's have a goal. Let's identify the things that are causing us problems. In this game, it was the Psylocke. She was hard carrying this. She's like legit smurfing on you guys, right? So use your mobility. Don't default to main. You're a terrible tank to frontline. You're a great tank to come in from the side or behind or find a high value target. And yeah, if you work on those things, you'll be golden. But she is one of the hardest tanks in the game because of all of her limitations that they gave her for her mobility. Lower damage, not great brawl presence in a lot of situations, right? So yeah, I hope this is helpful for you.